Reporting from Arkham Asylum, this is Gotham Rogues. In this video we spotlight Danny DeVito's Penguin from the movie Batman Returns. It's another episode of Batman Movie Villains, the series where I take a look at all of the cinematic adaptations of Bat Rogues and give you my thoughts on how I feel they were handled. I'm going through the villains in chronological order, and now it's time for the Penguin, played by Danny DeVito in Tim Burton's Batman Returns from 1992. In this movie, we got a very different version of the Penguin than what we are used to. He's not a sophisticated gentleman of crime. Instead, he's a gross freak from the sewers. In Batman Returns, Oswald Cobblepot is the deformed, monstrous firstborn child to a wealthy Gotham family. His hapless parents are horrified by him and his animalistic behavior, and eventually has enough of it, deciding to get rid of little Oswald by throwing him into a river. He survives though and is flushed down into the sewers, where he's raised by penguins? Really? 33 years later, Oswald is a grown penguin man and local urban legend who carries a fierce grudge against Gotham City for the way he was treated. At some point, he also joined the Red Triangle Circus, a band of psychotic performers who now serve as his henchmen. The Penguin plans to get his revenge on the city by kidnapping and murdering all the firstborn sons of Gotham's wealthiest families. Poetic justice in his twisted mind. However, he hides his true scheme as he uses corrupt businessman Max Schreck, played by Christopher Walken, to become a respected member of Gotham City's high society. Schreck is in turn using Cobblepot in his scheme to build an illegal power plant that the mayor refuses to approve. After turning Penguin into a folk hero through some clever publicity stunts, the crooked business mogul persuades Oswald into running for mayor. With the Penguin in his pocket, Schreck is sure that this way he'll get his power plant built. Of course, Batman, again played by Michael Keaton, is suspicious of both of these shady characters and becomes a thorn in their side, prompting the Penguin to form a brief alliance with new menace to society, the Catwoman, played by Michelle Pfeiffer, in a plot to get rid of the Dark Knight. There's lots of schemes and evil plots going on in this movie, maybe a bit too many, but we're not here to discuss that. We're here to talk about Batman Returns' portrayal of the Penguin. After Batman '89 was such a huge success, director Tim Burton was given complete creative control over the sequel, allowing him to do whatever he wanted. Except for one thing, choosing the main villain. Warner Brothers' sole demand was that he'd use the Penguin in this role, because there was a conception in those days, and there still is to a certain degree, that Cobblepot was Batman's number 2 rogue after the Joker. The problem was though that Burton didn't really like Penguin and found him to be a boring character. Therefore, he decided to do his own take on the villain, creating a very different Oswald Cobblepot that made sense to him. Together with screenwriter Warren Scarron, Burton changed Penguin from a well-mannered and cultivated criminal mastermind to a foul, grotesque penguin man monster. I actually don't mind when they change the characters if it's for something better or at least as good as the source material, but if it's a change for the worse, then I just don't see the point. In the Penguin's case, I'm a bit torn. To focus on the deformed freak part of the character is a very interesting idea, and certainly one that we've seen a few times in the comics post-Batman Returns. But where I think Burton and company misses the mark a bit is in portraying Cobblepot as a nasty, pure evil creep. We get the feeling that we're supposed to feel a bit sorry for Penguin, especially in the ending, but honestly we don't. I mean, the guy literally wants to kill little babies, and he was always a horrible bastard. I mean, he ate the family cat when he was a baby. Seriously, Oswald deserved to be thrown into the river. He's also completely insincere about wanting to become accepted by society, as it's all a ruse, and he's just playing the poor innocent shunned freak so that he can proceed with his plan to kill little babies. This makes him really uninteresting in my opinion, and kind of ruins the whole deformed freak theme. I think it would have been far better if they portrayed him as a sympathetic character who, due to his deformity, was treated so badly by his parents and society that he became a monster. Perhaps his plan to become accepted could have been sincere instead, but was only met with rejection, which is what then caused him to turn to the dark side. I think that would have worked much better with the idea of the lost son of Gotham who was abandoned and treated like trash because of his physical appearance. As it is in the movie, Penguin looks like a monster and he is a monster. There's nothing compelling about that. However, if you just think of him as a villain, an evil antagonist for Batman to defeat, then Penguin works pretty well, I suppose. As for DeVito's performance, a lot of people criticize it for being over the top. Well, it certainly is, but then again, it's supposed to be. This Penguin is after all a vulgar, gross, inhuman monster. You couldn't have played a character like that straight. I think DeVito does a great job in portraying this nasty guy, complete with weird grunts, slurs and tics. His performance, combined with the makeup, leaves very little left of the actual Danny DeVito on the screen. Speaking of the makeup, the design of Penguin in this movie looks very good too. At least for the most part. There's a few scenes where you really notice that he's just wearing a bodysuit. But other than that, I think it's a great, scary and grotesque look. This being a Tim Burton film, they naturally went for a more gothic, Victorian-era style outfit for Oswald, as opposed to his regular dapper tuxedos or tailcoats. A good choice, as it fits in perfectly with the rest of the visuals in this movie. We also get a nice display of Penguin's vast array of trick umbrellas, including a bladed umbrella, a machine gun umbrella, a flamethrower umbrella, and a flying swirly blade umbrella. I really appreciate this more now, as these days we rarely get any inventive weaponized umbrellas. Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, but as far as I can remember, Penguin never once used his umbrella as a weapon in any of the Arkham games, and he hasn't yet used it a single time in Gotham either. What's that all about? Are trick umbrellas considered to be too silly in this serious and gritty age? That would be funny, considering how Gotham has done way sillier things 100 times over. Anyway, in conclusion, the Batman Returns Penguin is indeed a very different take on the character, and I understand why a lot of fans hate it. However, I myself think it's an interesting concept, but just wish it was done better. Next up in Batman movie villains, we'll be taking a look at Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman, also from Batman Returns, so stay tuned for that. And remember, Arkham Asylum awaits you in the next video.